Guess what? Pinocchio! Did you sing with me that time? Well, maybe you should go back and start the video over and sing with me. Anyway, let's take a look here. What's next? Chapter 28. Pinocchio runs the danger of being fried in a pan like a fish. Remember, the dog is chasing him after the carabiners falsely conclude that Pinocchio has injured the boy because it was his book, although he was not the one that threw it. During that wild chase, being chased by the dog, Pinocchio lived through a terrible moment when he almost gave himself up as lost. This was when Alidoro, that was the mastiff's name, in a frenzy of running, was on the very point of reaching him. The marionette heard, close behind him, the labored breathing of the beast, and now and again even felt his hot breath blow over him. Luckily, by this time, he was very near the shore, and the sea was in sight only a few steps away. As soon as he set foot on the beach, Pinocchio gave a leap and fell into the water. Alidoro tried to stop, but as he was running very fast, he couldn't, and he too landed far out in the sea. Strange though it may seem, the dog could not swim. He beat the water with his paws to hold himself up, but the harder he tried, the deeper he sank. As he stuck his head out once more, he barked out wildly, "I drown! I drown!" "Drown!" answered Pinocchio from afar, happy at his escape. "Help, Pinocchio! Dear little Pinocchio, save me from death!" At those cries of suffering, the marionette, who after all had a very kind heart, was moved to compassion. He turned toward the poor animal and said to him, "If I help you, will you promise not to bother me again by running after me?" I promise, I promise! Only hurry, for if you wait another second, I'll be dead." Pinocchio hesitated still another minute. Then, remembering how his father had often told him that a kind deed is never lost, he swam to Alidoro and, catching a hold of his tail, dragged him to the shore. The poor dog was so weak he could not stand. He had swallowed so much salt water that he was swollen like a balloon. However, Pinocchio, not wishing to trust him too much, threw himself once more into the sea. As he swam away, he called out, "Goodbye, Alidoro. Good luck, and remember me to the family." If you remember, that was what the little bird told Pinocchio when he was trying to fry an egg. All those years ago. Seems like forever, but it's only been a couple chapters. "Goodbye, little Pinocchio," answered the dog. "1,000 thanks for having saved me from death. You did me a good turn, and in this world what is given is always returned. If the chance comes, I shall be there." Pinocchio went on swimming close to the shore. At last he thought he had reached a safe place. Glancing up and down the beach, he saw the opening of a cave, out of which rose a spiral of smoke. In that cave, he said to himself, there must be a fire. I'll dry my clothes and warm myself. And then, well, his mind made up, Pinocchio swam to the rocks. But as he started to climb, he felt something underneath him lifting him higher and higher up. He tried to escape, but it was too late. To his great surprise, he found himself in a huge net amid a crowd of fish of all kinds and sizes who were struggling desperately to free themselves. At the same time, he saw a fisherman come out of the cave, a fisherman so ugly that Pinocchio thought he was a sea monster. In place of hair, his head was covered by a thick bush of green grass. Green was also the skin of his body. Green were his eyes. Green was the long, long beard that reached down to his feet. He looked like a giant lizard with arms and legs. Okay, it's time for the picture. This is another one of these full-page pictures here. When the fisherman pulled the net out of the sea, he cried out joyfully, "Blessed Providence! Once more I'll have a fine meal of fish." "Thank heaven I'm not a fish," said Pinocchio to himself, trying with these words to find a little courage. The fisherman took the net and the fish to the cave, a dark, gloomy, smoky place. In the middle of it, a pan full of oil sizzled over a smoky fire, sending out a repelling odor of tallow that took away one's breath. "Now, let's see what kind of fish we have caught," said the fisherman. He put a hand as big as a spade into the net and pulled out a handful of mullets. "Fine mullets these," he said, after looking at them and smelling them with pleasure. After that, he threw them into a large empty tub. Many times he repeated this performance. As he pulled each fish out of the net, his mouth watered with the thought of the good dinner coming. And he said, "Fine fish, these bass. Very tasty, these whitefish. Delicious flounders, these. What splendid crabs." Hmm. Can you see the clock over my shoulder? What time is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 o'clock. How nice. Guess what time it also is? Time to finish the story. And these dear little anchovies with their heads still on. As you can well imagine, the bass, the flounders, the whitefish, and even the little anchovies all went together into the tub to keep the mullets company. The last one to come out of the net was Pinocchio. As soon as the fisherman pulled him out, his green eyes opened wide with surprise, and he cried out in fear, "What kind of fish is this? I don't remember ever eating anything like it." Let's zoom in a little close there. Let's take a look. Oh my gooseness. He's so green. He looked at him closely, and after turning him over and over, he said at last, "I understand. He must be a crab," because of the arms and legs, I think. Pinocchio, mortified at being taken for a crab, said resentfully, "What nonsense! A crab indeed! I'm no such thing. Beware how you deal with me. I'm a marionette, I want you to know." "A marionette?" asked the fisherman. "I must admit that a marionette fish is, for me, an entirely new kind of fish. So much the better. I'll eat you with greater relish." "Eat me? But can't you understand that I'm not a fish? Can't you hear that I speak and think as you do?" "It's true," answered the fisherman. "But since I see that you are a fish well able to talk and think as I do, I'll treat you with all due respect. And that's a sign of my particular esteem. I'll leave you the choice of the manner in which you are cooked. Do you wish to be fried in a pan, or do you prefer to be cooked with tomato sauce?" "To tell you the truth," answered Pinocchio, "if I must choose, I should much rather go free so that I may return home." "Are you fooling? Do you think that I want to lose the opportunity to taste such a rare fish? A marionette fish does not come very often to these seas. Leave it to me. I'll fry you in the pan with the others. I know you'll like it. It's always comfort to find oneself in good company." So remember, the boys were bad company. It's a little bit of a joke, but I don't think Pinocchio's laughing. The unlucky marionette, hearing this, began to cry and wail and beg. With tears streaming down his cheeks, he said, "How much better it would have been for me to go to school! I did listen to my playmates, and now I'm paying for it. Oh, oh, oh!" And as he struggled and squirmed like an eel to escape from him, the green fisherman took a stout cord and tied him hand and foot and threw him into the bottom of the tub with the others. Morning. Then he pulled out a wooden bowl full of flour out of a cupboard and started to roll the fish in it one by one. When they were white with it, he threw them into the pan. The first to dance in the hot oil were the mullets. The bass followed, then the whitefish, the flounders, and the anchovies. Pinocchio's turn came last. Seeing himself so near death, and such a horrible death, he began to tremble so with fright that he had no voice left with which to beg for his life. The poor boy beseeched only with his eyes, But the green fisherman, not even noticing that it was he, turned him over and over in the flour until he looked like a marionette made of chalk. Then he took him by the head and... I'm sorry, that's it. That's where the chapter ends. You'll have to wait until the next episode to find out what happens to Pinocchio. Anyway, I find it interesting that in the book version, Pinocchio several times comes very, very close to death. Death is not something that the author hides from children, unlike the Disney movie. Because without the I don't know, without the possibility of death, it kind of cheapens Pinocchio's bravery. Remember, one of the very first things I said was that even young children can be brave. All of the virtues that people have in adulthood, truth, bravery, kindness, patience, love, all of those things, the little children can have those too, no matter how little. So, no. But you'll have to wait till next time to see what happens next. So long.